What's up, everybody? Cody here with the Conspiracy Patriot Podcast. So I'm going to prove to everyone that AOC is the biggest fucking liar ever, and that she made the whole Capitol where she thought she was gonna die and all that stuff. She completely made it up, and I'll prove it to you by these timelines. Let's watch the first video she made about it.
All of that is an aside. I want to cut straight to the chase. Wednesday was an extremely traumatizing event. And it is not an exaggeration to say that many, many members of the House were nearly assassinated. It's just not an exaggeration.
She has to make sure you know it's not an exaggeration, because it is an exaggeration and it's a massive lie, clearly.
To say that at all. We were very lucky.
And they were almost assassinated. Did you hear that one?
That things happened within certain minutes that allowed members to escape the House floor unharmed. But many of us nearly and narrowly escaped death. And it's also extremely traumatizing. And what was also traumatizing was how unsettling that day was, because there was a sense that something was wrong.
She probably knew.
Obviously with the violence, but there was a sense that something was wrong from the inside.
Like what?
As we saw, there were members of Capitol Police who were quite heroic. You know, we have many officers, and you know, there were also black and brown officers.
Why does that matter? What does it matter if they're black and brown at all? Because they always have to include race in everything. Everything has to be some kind of race issue with these people.
That were confronting white supremacists and
just assume that Trump supporters are white supremacists, okay?
Putting themselves not just...
And this is the woman that's calling for unity, by the way.
To protect members, but they put themselves in harm's way on the front line, facing the racist violence.
And she goes on to say that there were some officers she wasn't too sure about. She wasn't sure which officer she could trust and which one she couldn't. AKA, she thought the white guys were going to kill her, is pretty much what she was trying to say. And then she compares her, this is a second video she makes about it, weeks after this has happened, okay, and she comes back to it to talk about it again. She can't leave it alone. She's like, I need to be a victim somehow this week. So, what she do, she compares her, the Capitol attack to her sexual assault.
And the reason I'm getting emotional in this moment is because these folks who tell us to move on, that it's not a big deal, that we should forget what's happened, or even telling us to apologize, these are the same tactics of abusers. And I'm a survivor of sexual assault. And I haven't told many people that in my life. But when we go through trauma...
Wow, she is a great actor, and that's what all these politicians are. They're just actors because the world is a stage. We live on a stage. It's all theater. And she says that she hasn't told anybody about her. She hasn't told many people about her sexual assault. You want to know why I probably think she hasn't told anybody? Because I think it's probably a bunch of bullshit, just like everything else she talks about. Where she grew up, the fact that she almost dies at the Capitol, and that she's sexually assaulted. And then she does like psyop pictures of... kids in cages, you know, this, not really great. But this picture here, she's taking a picture of her crying next to a fence, and it was a parking lot. It was a fucking parking lot, okay? So, I'm sorry, but I don't fucking believe. I highly doubt, because you know damn well AOC, if she was actually sexually assaulted when the whole Me Too movement had came out, she would have been front and center with her I can't talk today. Holy shit. With her sexual assault. Because it was a big thing, and again, she just has to be a victim somehow. So, sorry if I don't believe that she's actually sexually assaulted either. Or was.
Trauma compounds on each other. Experience any sort of trauma. And I had a lot of thoughts. You have a lot of compound on one another. And I had a lot of thoughts. You have a lot of thoughts. I think when you're in a situation like that. And like also one of those thoughts that I had was, I just happened to, be a spiritual person and be raised.
Oh, you think AOC is a spiritual person? She's the type of girl, she's like, I'm not religious, I'm just spiritual, so... Yeah, fuck you, AOC. You're definitely not spiritual. You're not religious in the slightest, or you wouldn't believe anything you do.
In that context, and I really just felt like, if this is the plan for me, then people will be able to take it from here.
What?
I had a lot of thoughts, but that was the thought that I had about you all.
She wants you to believe that when she supposedly thought that she was going to die, she was thinking about the people she represents. Yeah, no, she was not. She don't care about anybody but herself, which is why she's selling a Eat the Rich sweatshirt for $65 on her website. $65 for a sweatshirt. I don't even think it has a hoodie, so it's pointless to me. And then she's also the same woman that canceled, or Amazon was supposed to come to her district and bring 25,000 jobs that are all paid over $100,000. And she completely destroyed that deal. Amazon, she didn't want them coming because eat the rich and fuck billionaires and millionaires, and then she destroyed 25,000 possible jobs for people in poverty or middle class, to, rise up a little bit. But nah, she don't want that. Okay, so she then... Hold on.
If this was the journey that my life was taking, that I felt that things were going to be okay. Purpose.
Okay, I can't watch that woman anymore. Okay, so she said she took shelter behind her door. This is in those videos you can go watch. Behind her door just before the pro-Trump attacked her. Jeez, I tell you, I can't talk. Attackers break into her office and make it clear they were coming for her. She says, I just hear these yells of, where is she? Where is she? AOC recalled. Okay, so she's saying that there's people in her office, she's taking shelter, and they're yelling, they're looking for her, where she is, they're trying to find her because, she was clearly almost assassinated. So AOC said at 1:01 p.m., 11 minutes before Trump finished his speech, okay, and where he was at, it was a 36-minute walk from where he was giving his speech to the Capitol building. Okay, and she said this all happened at 1:01. This is 11 minutes before he even finished speaking. AOC heard banging and thought it was Trump supporters trying to get inside, but this was literally an hour before anyone had breached the Capitol building. Not only was she not in the building, the story she told happened an hour and 10 minutes before anyone breached the Capitol building. And what made AOC think a pro-Trump group had gotten inside when no one had even breached the Capitol building yet? How did she know that? An hour before anybody even breached anything, the Capitol building, anything. she was saying that she thought pro-Trump attackers were in the building. Nobody even thought or knew that it was going to be possible to breach the Capitol, but somehow she knew an hour or so before? Yeah, probably not. And then she changed her story a few times, of course, because she's a liar.
And I did not go to the secure location because I feared other members of Congress that would have
I just spit some water.
allowed harm to me. So I was not in the secure location that day.
And just the uncertainty, did he not say that he was Capitol Police on purpose? Did he lose himself in that moment? Did he not give us the extraction point location because he forgot? Or was he trying to actually put us in a vulnerable, situation?
And this was a white police officer she was accusing of this. So again, she's like, and she said that she didn't trust other members of Congress, like they were gonna murder her or something like it's just, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Okay, so here is the timeline. Okay, so she said that this all happened at 1:01. Okay, rioters violently overwhelmed the police and breached the Capitol's outermost barricade, okay? And you saw from other reports that eventually they just opened the gates for these people to come in. And again, Trump did not finish speaking. Let's see. Yeah. Trump ends his rally speech at 1:12 p.m., okay? And these are his actual supporters that came to see him speak. You were at the rally watching Trump speak or listening to Trump speak. Okay, so at 12:53, before he was even finished, and they were 30 minutes away, rioters violently overwhelmed the police and breached the Capitol's outermost barricade. They break through 3 more barriers, forcing officers back to the Capitol steps where they now face off. 12:58, Capitol Police and riot gear are seen arriving to reinforce the line of officers at the Capitol. 1:03, Speaker Nancy Pelosi begins the joint session of Congress where both chambers meet to certify the presidential vote. Okay, so she's saying this all happened at 1:01. Okay, and Nancy Pelosi had just started the joint session. Okay, 1:12, Trump ends his rally. 1:12, several House Republicans, backed by Senator Ted Cruz of Texas, object to certify Arizona's vote, sending the House and Senate to debate in separate chambers, blah, blah, blah. 1:15, by the Capitol step, rioters continue to clash with the police. By now, reinforcements from local police have arrived. Okay, 1:30, the Senate and House debates begin in the respective chambers. 1:49, Capitol Police request National Guard assistance. Okay, they don't break in until 2:10, and AOC is saying that this is taking place an hour and 10 minutes before anybody had actually even broken into the Capitol building. Now, where was she at? Okay, this right here is AOC's office. This is Representative Katie Porter's office. And then this is the U.S. Capitol building, streets away from her. She is nowhere near the Capitol building. That is like someone in California saying, yeah, I'm traumatized by the 9/11 events. I was right there with them. I was there. It's just an outright lie. She was in the Cannon building. Okay, she was nowhere near the U.S. Capitol. Okay, and they supposedly evacuated the Cannon building at 1:26. Okay, and again, where's the timeline? They don't breach until 2:10 p.m. And do you know? They were evacuated the Cannon Building. The Cannon Building had to be evacuated because there was a bomb threat. Okay, she wasn't evacuated because people were storming and trying to break into the Cannon Building, because it didn't happen. Nobody broke into they had no barricades at the Cannon Building. Okay, so how does AOC know that they were going to storm and breach the Capitol an hour and 10 minutes before it happened? You tell me. Because again, they didn't, let's see, what was it? At 1:30, the Senate and House debates begin in their respective chambers, which means they did not evacuate the Capitol building because it didn't have a bomb threat. They only evacuated the Cannon Building, which was where AOC was because of a bomb threat. Or else they would have done the same thing you think they would have just let Nancy Pelosi and them stay in there? No. So she was evacuated an hour 10 minutes before the Capitol building was even breached. Okay, so and here's a video. I won't do that. Tom Fitzgerald, we have just been evacuated out of the Canning House office building. Capitol Police yelled, "Clear the building." Did not say why, but now they know it was because of a bomb. Okay. You see these people? Guy there with his dog scratching his head. Wow, they look horrified, don't they? They look like they were all about to be assassinated. You know, and this AOC. And then she goes on and the whole GameStop issue, she makes a tweet and says this is unacceptable about Robinhood, blah, blah, blah. And she talks about unity. So Ted Cruz tweets back and says, fully agree. Okay? They don't agree on anything, but he responds and said, fully agree, because they were going to go after the stock. I don't know if they will or not, you know, the hedge funds. And she tweets back and says, I am happy to work with Republicans on this issue where there's common ground, but you almost had me murdered 3 weeks ago, so you can sit this one out. Happy to work with almost any other GOP that aren't trying to get me killed. In the meantime, if you want to help, you can resign. So again, AOC just wants to be a victim so badly. She is telling Ted Cruz that he almost had her murdered when her whole story is completely fabricated and bullshit. Sorry, my mouth's a little dry. But, okay, so Snopes, you know, good old, very trustworthy Snopes. Did AOC exaggerate the danger she was in during the Capitol? Mostly false. I just gave you the timeline, which made it physically impossible for her to be there, and she was evacuated way before any breach of any Capitol happened. And it says what's true. Ocasio-Cortez wasn't in the main Capitol building where the House and Senate chambers are located. What's false, however, Ocasio-Cortez never claimed to be in the Capitol building when the attack on the Capitol began. Ocasio-Cortez was, as she stated, in her congressional office, which is located in a network of office buildings immediately surrounding the Capitol. And her office building was one of the two buildings that were evacuated for a bomb threat an hour before any breach happened. So yeah, again, Snopes is a bunch of bullshit. Don't ever trust Snopes. Don't ever trust any fucking fact-checking website. Okay? And then this is a representative that is in AOC's office with her. Said Thursday that Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez doesn't deal in reality. After the New York Congresswoman launched counterattacks to Mesa's statements questioning her version of the events of the January 6th riot. I was 2 doors down from AOC. Not at one moment during the events of January 6th was any insurrectionist coming down the hallways where our officers are located. But you heard AOC. She says that they stormed in. They were beating on her door saying, "Where is she? Where is she?" Yeah. Okay. And then, so AOC, what's AOC do? She has to go. So AOC had to go and do damage control on Twitter. Jack Posobiec tweeted and said AOC wasn't in the Capitol building during her near-death experience. And AOC comments back and says, "This is the latest manipulation take on the right. They are manipulating the fact that most people don't know the layout, the Capitol complex. We were all on the Capitol complex. The attack wasn't just on the dome. The bombs Trump supporters planted surrounded our offices too." How does she know that it was Trump supporters that supposedly planted the bomb? FBI doesn't even know who planted the bombs yet, but somehow AOC knows that it was Trump supporters, okay? And she's saying that they're manipulating it because people don't know about, like, the tunnels and the complex of the Capitol. That has nothing to... You were streets away. You were evacuated an hour before it was even breached. Okay? ALC. People were trying to rush and infiltrate our office buildings. That's why we had to get evacuated in the first place. Wrong. What were they evacuated for? A bomb threat. The attempts of attackers and publicly available communications show how they tried to gain access and share location info on finding members for physical harm. How does she know that? How does she know at the time that they had publicly available communications? It is also very damning and revealing that GOP is now digging both heels in a discrediting campaign. It is because they know they are implicated, so they're pivoting to, again, the classic abuse playbook of it's not as bad as they say. It was that bad, it's actually worse. She is doubling down on her accusations that it was Trump supporters that were trying to kill her, and then AOC started, oh my God, I gotta play this video. Oh, it's not a video, god dang it. AOC had to, let me find it. Right here. If you still don't understand, AOC is controlled opposition used by the Dem Party to rebrand progressives as the new liberals. Here is what she focused on instead of helping people. Okay, so this is what she sent out, this email immediately after being exposed on Twitter for being a liar. Okay? It says, as we speak, right-wing operatives with millions of followers on social media are spreading flat-out lies and misleading information about Alexandria. But with your help, we can force Twitter and Facebook to take action and enforce their own rules. What's so frustrating about these attacks is that once the truth comes out, so few people get to hear it. Hundreds of thousands or potentially millions of people will have already seen or shared the misleading tweets or fake news articles. We need your help. Here's what you can do to help us combat this campaign of disinformation. I gotta get real close. I can't. Maybe I can zoom. Maybe not. Scan your social media to find posts with the misleading information, especially those using the trending hashtag, which is AOC lied, or AOC, it was like Alexandria Ocasio-Smollett, because obviously Jussie Smollett is a fucking liar as well. Don't tweet any hashtags yourself because we don't want to spread them further. Identify any posts that are threatening or harassing and use the built-in report features to flag them for moderators. Facebook and Twitter both have built-in tools for reporting posts and tweets that break the rules. The sad thing is that a lot of damage has already been done. Yeah, we found out. So they're they sent this email, a letter out to AOC's fans and telling them to block or to report on tweets that call AOC out on her bullshit. Okay, and this is how fucked up and how we should not be canceling people, and we should not be blocking, deleting information. It's because they don't want the truth to get out, which is why they block Donald Trump, which is why they block conservatives. They don't want you knowing what's actually happening. Okay, and this is just a short video. AOC was crying over an empty parking lot.
A lot of people out there were witnessing these photos
licking my lips
that were being kicked out
fucking
in
mouth's
terms of
dry.
AOC at this border protest, apparently, and that she was crying because of the individuals that were on the other side screaming for them to be released and helped or whatever.
Yeah, she was crying because she said that she could hear screams and shit like that.
Well, now we have some other images that have come out showing some officers standing here on the other side, but instead of some other people, there seems to have been nothing but police in an
So AOC just loves being a victim, is the biggest fucking liar ever. And guess what? There's still going to be dumb motherfuckers that don't care about her lying because it runs with their narrative, which is so fucking dangerous. So, fuck AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So, peace out.